WCBI News at 10 starts now.
If your late night plans include a trip to Starkville, you might want to reconsider. Thanks for joining us tonight. At last check, traffic was still backed up on Highway 82 after an 18-wheeler wrecked, spilling some of its fuel. A fire official at the scene tells us that debris from a truck in front of that big rig fell out, hitting the 18-wheeler. The driver then jackknifed, blocking the road. The accident happened just east of the Highway 12 exit. A fuel tank on the truck was damaged, causing a diesel spill. The Golden Triangle Regional Hazmat team was called in to help clean up that spill. The good news, no injuries were reported. The Mississippi Highway Patrol and the Department of Transportation are investigating. A 48-hour burglary spree ends with 4 men facing a total of 17 felony charges. The investigation started Tuesday, and with the cooperation between Lowndes County deputies and Columbus police, a big break in the case is made.
19-year-old Monroe Richards Jr., Tavian Drungo, and 20-year-old Jeremiah Payne are accused of stealing vehicles, property, even weapons. One of those vehicles was a 2016 Honda Pilot.
Columbus Police Department spotted the Honda Pilot, attempted to stop it. The vehicle at that point ran from the police. It wrecked out at a local business. One person was able to get out and get away from the vehicle, but they did apprehend the driver.
Inside, Lowndes County Chief Deputy Greg Wright says investigators recovered weapons. The alleged burglars have been targeting the north, south, and east sides of the city, particularly the Sherwood Forest area. Investigators even think there's a connection to this attempted break-in at a home in North Columbus. The homeowner sent us this video showing one man attempting to break in. You even see another person walk up. With more arrests expected, Wright says potential burglars might want to think twice.
You're going to get caught. I mean, it's going to happen. We're going to investigate these things. We're going to investigate them aggressively, and you will get caught eventually.
A 4th person was arrested late Friday afternoon. Wright says the 4 have racked up 17 felony charges.
Every time you go into a vehicle and you go into another vehicle, that's a separate count. And these counts can pile up real quick, and before you know it, you could be charged with multiple felony offenses.
A stolen pickup was also recovered during the investigation. Wright also warns property owners to make sure you don't have anything valuable inside of your vehicles. We have new updates tonight to a story we first brought you yesterday out of Louisville. Police are investigating Reginald Moore's possible connection to an attack involving several juveniles that was recorded, and it's made its rounds on social media. On your screen here is a clip of the video. You can see a group of teenage boys punching and beating up on a 13-year-old. The victim's mother believes Moore is influencing young teenage boys to do these types of things. Chief Sean Holdiness says Moore speaks to students at an alternative school, reportedly serving as a mentor. The chief believes he's using that as a way to connect with the teenagers and convince them to carry out these acts.
It's very painful to see all of those kids attack one child, and for him to beg and plead for them not to do it, it's very hurtful.
Talking to Mr. Moore, he says, well, I can't control what they do, but they do look up to me. And there again, he's using his power as being a mentor to these young men to influence them to do things.
Yesterday, Moore was arrested and charged with transfer of a controlled substance. He's out on bond. Chief Holdiness says Moore's vehicle was recently shot at. He believes it was in retaliation to the viral video. Here's a bizarre one. A Northeast Mississippi woman is accused of attending a wedding she wasn't invited to and then taking the newlyweds' gifts. 53-year-old Sandra Henson of Rienzi is charged with theft of property 3rd degree and theft of property 4th degree in Florence, Alabama. At a press conference today, Florence Police Detective Josh Hine says Henson allegedly took gifts from 2 local weddings while also eating dinner at least one of those weddings. Her bond is set at $2,500. Time now to get a first look at our forecast. We'll send things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Keith Gibson, Friday is here. The weekend is upon us.
The true statement, Scott. The best statement of the week, arguably, I think, for us here in the news business. We do have a rainbow to show you. Look at that. One of several rainbows spotted here across our region today. That was in West Alabama. Now, most of the rain is done, but we still have a few isolated showers here moving back to the northwest. Pickens County, southeastern Knoxville County. These will be short-lived, but still a few downpours out and about as of now. But I really think all that's going to be done within the hour. We'll see. Temperatures are in the 70s, lows tonight down to around 70. So a pretty comfortable night for us. And for your Saturday, much like today, some of you may see a storm. Other spots may stay dry. Highs will be up to around 90 degrees. And as we look ahead, there's really no big changes coming our way. I'll show you that in the 7-day forecast coming up.
Two of the Republican candidates for Mississippi governor make a last push for votes. Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves and former state Supreme Court Chief Justice Bill Waller Jr. They were in Columbus this evening, just blocks away from each other too. Waller attended a meet and greet at the Columbus Arts Council in downtown Columbus, while Reeves stopped in at Chunky Chuck's for an ice cream social. The latest polls show that the two could end up in a runoff after Tuesday's primary, so don't forget to get out and vote. That's next Tuesday, August 6th. President Trump's choice to be America's top spy didn't even make it to the end of the week. In a tweet on Sunday, the president announced his nomination of Texas Congressman John Ratcliffe as Director of National Intelligence, but senators on both sides of the aisle raised serious questions about his qualifications. In a tweet, the president announced Ratcliffe was withdrawing from consideration. CBS's Paula Reed has the very latest from Washington.
President Trump said Congressman Ratcliffe withdrew from consideration to avoid further media scrutiny.
I think he was just treated very badly, very harshly by the press.
That press focused on bipartisan concerns about Ratcliffe's qualifications. He only joined the Intelligence Committee 6 months ago. His official bio claims he put terrorists in prison as a federal prosecutor in Texas, but his name does not appear in court documents for any terrorism-related cases. Ratcliffe is a vocal supporter of President Trump, but his selection as the next spy chief received a damningly tepid reception on Capitol Hill.
I'd rather not address that until I've actually had a chance to meet him and discuss his background and qualifications.
Mr. President, the president denied he faced pressure from Republicans to withdraw the Texas lawmaker from consideration.
I think he would have had support, but again, we were very early in the process.
They didn't seem very supportive, Mr. President. CBS News has learned that Ratcliffe withdrew his nomination partly because he didn't expect a confirmation fight, especially among Republicans. We've also learned that Representative Will Hurd's decision not to seek re-election in Texas, leaving another Republican House vacancy, also played into Ratcliffe's decision. Paula Reed, CBS News, the White House.
The president said he's considering 3 people for the position, and he's not ruling out Deputy Director of National Intelligence Sue Gordon. If selected, she would be the first woman to head the agency in its brief history.
A live view with our Alpha Insurance Camera Network in Columbus, Vernon, Durham's Pharmacy, Louisville, Mississippi, and downtown Tupelo. We're looking pretty good on our Friday evening. We'll have a look at the weekend and beyond next.
Your WCBI First AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Some isolated showers and thunder showers out there this evening. Look at that one right there. That was near Starkville after 8 o'clock. It was rumbling on through. Brief downpour, some thunder and lightning with that, and then it just fell apart. Now, speaking of rainbows, there's another view of one of those over there in West Alabama. Almost a complete arc. It actually is there. Very faint at times, but maybe you found the pot of gold out there. And another great photo of the setting sun with those debris clouds after the storms were weakening there in West Alabama. So we still have a few downpours. Aliceville, southeastern Knoxville County. This is lifting back to the northwest, but it's going to weaken here shortly. So it's short-lived, but still a few downpours out there. Most spots dry. You can see with Futurecast going over the next 3 hours. That should be on the way out, and that should set up a pretty quiet night for us. Down to around 70, clearing skies later on. We're looking at light and variable wind continuing tonight. And for your Saturday, by 10, 82, 1 o'clock, 88. Our high will be around 90, give or take. And then depending on the rain and storm situation in the evening, we may be in the 70s or 80s. We'll see, but there will be some scattered showers and storms around and some cloud cover. But temperatures will top out around 90 degrees, a little bit below the average, but seasonably warm for this time of year. Tomorrow morning, pretty quiet, but by the afternoon, notice these scattered showers and storms. As we keep mentioning, some of you may have a pretty good downpour in your garden. Some of you may miss out and have to water all weekend long. These will be going away during the evening hours after the sun sets, much like today. Most of it should probably be done by mid-evening. And then Sunday morning, fairly quiet at the start. By noon and thereafter, scattered showers and storms all the way around the region. So it's going to be completely random whether or not you get a storm or you do not get a storm. We've got mild temperatures here in the 70s, but it's in the 80s and 90s back to the west. Still upper 80s in Billings, Montana, 106 in Phoenix. So pretty hot out west. Warm here. This is the temperature trend for the next week. The hottest of the hot stays out west. We stay seasonably warm and some slightly cooler air up there in the Great Lakes and New England by the middle to end of next week. And there's actually a big area of high pressure out to the west, and there's a trough here across our region, and that will just keep those daily chances for showers and storms going. We're still monitoring this little blob of disturbed weather east of Barbados, way out in the Atlantic. That has some potential for tropical development. If it does develop, it still doesn't look like it would affect the Gulf of Mexico. So that's certainly good news for local interests here. We are not tracking any tropical trouble that would affect our region, but we do have the chance for some scattered showers and storms going for the next 7 days. Some days will feature better odds than others. Highs around 90, lows around 70.
As summer winds down and school cranks up, some college students are finding themselves in a housing crunch. We'll explain when we come back.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Welcome back, everyone. It happens every August in college towns like Starkville and Oxford. Every year, dozens of students are left with no place to live. That's because most leases end around July 25th, and new leases don't begin until around August 10th. And as our Cash Matlock finds out, some people simply don't have anywhere to go in between.
Mary Marable is a junior finance major at Mississippi State University. She recently moved out of her 5-bedroom apartment and into her car.
It's just hard because right now I have a bunch of furniture in my car, because I didn't want to bring it all the way up just to have to bring it all the way down and go ahead and move in such a short period of time. So I can't have people in my car right now. I can barely fit myself in the car right now because my car is literally full.
Marable has been sleeping in her friend's spare bedroom, which is also where she keeps her personal belongings at the moment.
Kind of living out of a shoebox, it's just hard because it's I don't know, I can only wear certain things because I know where those things are. I kind of have my work clothes separated, and then I have my daily clothes Nike shorts and stuff, but as far as going out, I just virtually don't right now because I can't find my clothes.
Marable says she's rented a new apartment in Starkville, but she won't have access to it until August 11th.
I can't even really unpack because I'm supposed to move out in 2 weeks. I'm paying rent somewhere and I'm having to live out of a shoebox right now when I've already paid a good amount of money for me, and I can't live there, and it sucks.
Marable says this isn't the first time she's dealt with something like this. She faced a similar issue last summer.
I moved out of the dorms in May, and then I had a job because I have to work while I'm in school, and my job told me that if I were to leave and go home, I would be fired.
This is a problem several students face each summer. Industry insiders say there's really no way around it.
It's just the nature of the beast. Everybody is just playing fruit basket turnover right now, and you just really don't know exactly what to do.
Experts say sometimes the only way to avoid the issue is just to renew your lease.
Unless you are very dissatisfied where you are, try to get where you're going and stay there for your school term, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. The moving around is what makes it harder, for the students.
Well, leasing agents also recommend letting your apartment complex know you need an earlier move-in date as soon as you can. College football season less than 30 days away. The Bulldogs and Rebels getting back to work. More from the fall camp next in sports.
Here's WCBI Sports with Tom Evelyn.
Fall camp underway across the country as college football season rapidly approaches. Mississippi State hitting the practice field Friday night. For the Bulldogs, all eyes are on the quarterback competition. Junior Keaton Thompson and transfer senior Tommy Stevens are set to be the top two on the depth chart. Day one of practice in the books. No definitive decision from head coach Joe Moorhead after one day in the pads. The head coach is eager to see how the competition plays out.
I think not just KT and Tommy, but Garrett and Jalen and even Logan had their moments today. So, I mean, it was one practice in helmets and shirts and, installed about 4 or 5 passes. So they all had their moments today. So we just excited to see how the competition plays out.
The Ole Miss Rebels getting back to work today as well. The new look defense working to put an end to the struggles of the past few seasons. New defensive coordinator Mike McIntyre's system already has the Rebels excited, and head coach Matt Luke hopes the momentum gained from the spring carries over to the fall.
I think they experienced some of that success in the spring, and you started to see that confidence build, not only in themselves, but in Coach McIntyre and what he brings to the table. And so I think it all works together. That's what this month is for, is to build that cohesive unit.
From, playing in it and seeing it, I definitely got a very confident feeling how the defense is going to look this year. So it's not like you got a guessing game like what if. Oh, I see a lot of holes. I see a lot of leakage. It's like everything's tight, everything's nice, everybody's well educated on defense and how to play in the defense.
The Rams of Columbus Christian have experienced a lot of change over the course of the past few years. New head coach Jason Williams has only been with the Rams for the past 3 weeks, but is hard at work to get his team ready for the upcoming season. We're 2/3 away from high school football season, and the Columbus Christian Rams are the 40th stop on the high school football tour.
WCBI's 60 Schools in 60 Days is brought to you by Sparklight.
The Columbus Christian Rams know how to adapt. Jason Williams joins the Rams as their 3rd head coach in the past year, is impressed with his new team and how they've overcome the challenge.
What I've asked them to do is just every day we're going to try to get better. Every day is a new day, and let's try to get better. And that's our main focus.
It's been tough, but we've been getting through it, just getting used to it every now and then. But we've been making it. It's been pretty tough for the whole team, just switching and changing, but Coach this year help get us through it.
The Rams aren't happy with the way they finished out the last season. Columbus Christian was able to make it to the semifinals before falling to Union Christian by 8 points. This season, the Rams are looking to go even further, a state championship.
Just stay together and keep working hard. Do the best we can do and see what happens.
While the expectation remains high for the players, Williams is staying focused on the here and now.
Is to get out here and do our drills, run the plays, defensively and offensively, and execute better than we did yesterday. And tomorrow, that's going to be our goal again. And leading into the season, it's going to be our goal every day.
With 3 weeks to go until the start of the high school football season, Williams is concentrating on challenging his new team each day.
Going to be trying to, work on getting in shape and things like that. And it's, we've got a lot of guys going to be going both ways, and so we challenged them from the beginning. And here, day 2, we're out here working hard, and it's, I see everybody giving me what they can. They're giving me what they got.
It's been tough. He's a lot harder than our older coach, but I feel like he's going to teach us stuff we need to learn and get through the season.
With the Rams on the high school football tour, Courtney Robb, WCBI Sports.
60 Schools in 60 Days with Columbus Christian was brought to you by East End Baptist Church and G&G Remodeling.
Just one more stop left on Academy Week here on the high school football tour. Victory Christian up next for your Saturday before we jump back into 2A football with some rivalry action. East Webster on Sunday, Eupora on Monday. Then jumping up classes, the North Pontotoc Vikings beginning our previews with 4A schools, the V-Men, one of the newer 4A schools this year. If you've missed any of the prior 39 stops up to this point, go over to our website, WCBI.com, or our social media accounts at WCBI Endzone on Twitter and Facebook. That's it for sports. WCBI News returns right after the break.
We're following some breaking news tonight out of Starkville. Corporal Brandon Lovelady with the Starkville Police Department confirms that Starkville police are investigating a shooting at Chandler Park Apartments. It is no injuries are known to them at this time. They do expect to make an arrest. Again, an investigation underway after a shooting incident at Chandler Park Apartments. Stay with WCBI.com and tune in at WCBI tomorrow night at 6, 9, and 10 for the latest developments on that.
All right, weather-wise, we have a few more storms in the forecast for this weekend. Now, it's not going to rain the entire weekend at all times, but these showers and storms will be out and about, much like today and yesterday. So some of you may get soaked, some of you may miss out. And that trend will continue for basically all of next week. And keep in mind, school begins Monday for some spots, other locations Tuesday, other locations Wednesday. So can you believe it, Scott? School is back.
Crazy. We were just talking about this in the newsroom earlier that, Tuesday's primary election day. We're trying to get all our coverage planned, and it's back to school
and
already. It's just ridiculous.
3 weeks from today, I believe, is that first football Friday.
Time. Where has it gone?
It's flying.
Goodness. Thanks, Keith. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.